What's going on, Peacocks? The United Faithful, the White's army that bleeds white and blue through every single vein. Brothers and sisters of Elland Road, grab your scarves tight because what I'm about to tell you will have your hearts racing faster than Bielsa's Mad Dogs on a counterattack. Listen up, because we've got 3 absolutely mental stories breaking right now that could change everything about our January transfer window, our wage structure, and the very soul of our defensive lineup. I'm talking about a legendary striker whose potential return is hanging by a thread, a right back who's being criminally underpaid while putting in world-class performances, and a defender who thought he was living his dream but might be trapped in a nightmare. At Elland Road, the January window is coming, and what happens in the next few weeks could define whether we survive this Premier League dogfight or get dragged back down. Hit that like button if you're ready for this roller coaster, drop a comment with your predictions, and smash that subscribe button because you don't want to miss what's coming next for our beloved Leeds. Are you sitting down? Good, because the first bombshell involves a striker we desperately need, but a certain manager's potential appointment could destroy our plans completely. Remember Chris Wood, lads, our Kiwi warrior who banged in 30 goals in that unforgettable season under Gary Monk. Well, Daniel Farke's been plotting to bring him back home to Elland Road, and we were this close to making it happen. The man's been on fire at Forest, but with Ange Postecoglou preferring Igor Jesus up front, Wood's been feeling the cold shoulder at the City ground. Here's where it gets absolutely mental. Sean Dyche might be taking over at Forest if they sack Postecoglou after 7 winless games. And you know what that means? Dyche loves Wood like we love a proper pint before kickoff. They spent 5 glorious years together at Burnley, and Dyche called him excellent and the difference maker just last season. The exact words from Dyche's mouth were that Wood was doing all the hard yards. And the difference, in my opinion, today, that's manager speak for I'll never let this man leave my team again. We're talking about losing out on a proven Premier League striker who knows Elland Road like the back of his hand. All because Dyche might fancy a reunion of his own. The transfer team's been working overtime trying to navigate our maxed out PSR position, with Robbie Evans confirming we're walking a financial tightrope. They've been looking at Lorenzo Pellegrini and Piotr Zielinski, but Wood was the one we really wanted. Remember how we tried for Harry Wilson and Fakino Buonanot in the summer and came up empty? We can't afford another transfer window disaster. Graham Bailey's told Leeds United News that we're monitoring Wood's situation like hawks. But if Dyche walks through those City ground doors, it's game over. The irony is crushing. Wood left us for Newcastle in January 2021. Dyche left Burnley 6 months later. And now they might reunite to crush our Premier League survival hopes. This is an absolute disaster waiting to happen. And it all depends on whether Evangelos Marinakis pulls the trigger on Postecoglou. But hold on tight, because the wage structure madness at our club is about to blow your mind even more. This is going to make your blood boil. White's Army. Jayden Bogle. Remember when Sheffield United fans said he couldn't hack it in the Premier League? Well, he's been incredible for us, one of Farke's best players in these first 7 games. And Graham Smythe himself called him incredible. The lad's been an absolute warrior down that right flank, defending like his life depends on it against Arsenal, Newcastle, Spurs, the biggest clubs in the land. But here's the scandal that should have every single one of us marching to Elland Road right now. Bogle's earning just £30,000 a week. Meanwhile, Jack Harrison is sitting on the bench collecting £90,000 every single week. That's 3 times what our starting right back is earning. Harrison's warming the bench while Bogle's out there fighting for our Premier League lives. His off-season trainers even come out saying Harrison's desperate to start, but Farke won't budge. Victor Orta handed Harrison that insane contract shortly after his failed Leicester move in January 2023, just £10,000 shy of 6 figures weekly. And now we're stuck paying a bench warmer £90,000 while our defensive hero gets peanuts. Anton Stach is on £45,000, Ethan Ampadu is pulling in £40,000, but Bogle, the man who's been one of our best signings at just £5 million, he's getting absolutely shafted. Think about this, we've faced 3 of the Premier League's 6 Champions League clubs already, plus Bournemouth, Everton, Fulham away, and Wolves. Through all that baptism of fire, Bogle's been immense. Graham Smythe says he started better in the Premier League than he did in the Championship. For a £5 million signing from Sheffield United, who their fans thought couldn't cut it at this level. He's proving everyone wrong while earning a third of what our bench warmer gets. With England crying out for quality fullbacks and Bogle's stock rising every match, we need to sort this out before someone else comes knocking. His contract runs until June 2028, but that won't mean anything if a bigger club offers to triple his wages. This wage structure is more broken than our defense was against Arsenal. The man deserves at least what Stach and Ampadu are getting. It's criminal that he's on less. But wait until you hear about the defender who's probably crying into his pillow every night, wishing he'd never signed for us. Oh lads, this one's painful. Sebastian Bourneau, four-time Belgium international, £5 million signing from Wolfsburg, and a man Daniel Farke has wanted for years. The German boss tried to sign him at Norwich back in 2021 after securing his second promotion, and finally got his man this summer. You'd think it would be a match made in heaven, right? Wrong. The poor bloke is sitting fourth in the pecking order. Pascal Struijk and Joe Rodon are locked in as starters, with Struijk's lack of duels, one being the only tiny glimmer of hope for change. Jakob Bijl is already publicly moaning about not getting games, voicing his frustration alongside Tanaka about their lack of starts, and Bourneau, he's only seen action in the bloody Carabao Cup. Imagine being a Belgian international, leaving Wolfsburg thinking you're joining a manager who's admired you for years, only to find yourself further from the pitch than a fan in Row Z. Bijl kept a clean sheet for Slovenia against Kosovo during the international break, and he's still frustrated about his situation. If Bijl can't get a sniff despite being ahead of Bourneau, what hope does our Belgian defender have? The man must be wondering what on earth he's done, signing that contract and moving to Yorkshire for this. Farke's famous for his rigid team selections. Remember Brendan Aronson? Playing 40 for 46 championship games despite John Newsom and half of Leeds wanting him gone. It took months to drop Ilan Meslier when we were screaming for it after that 3-3 Hull disaster, only finally axing him after the 2-2 Swansea draw. If it takes Farke that long to drop players who are actively costing us points, how long will it take for Bourneau to even get a look in? Back in 2021, Bourneau revealed how Norwich wanted him after Farke's second promotion, but he chose Wolfsburg instead. Now he's finally linked up with the manager who's chased him for years, and it's turned into an absolute nightmare. He's watching from the stands as we've lost 3 of our first 7 games, knowing he can help but being powerless to do anything. Bourneau's probably checking flight prices back to Germany every night, trapped in a nightmare where he's too good for the reserves but invisible to the manager, who supposedly wanted him for years. This is a £5 million investment just rotting away while we're fighting relegation. A 4-time international reduced to Carabao Cup appearances. It's absolutely criminal. So what does this all mean for our beloved Leeds? 3 massive stories, 3 potential disasters. We might lose out on Chris Wood, because Sean Dyche loves him more than we love beating Manchester United. We've got a wage structure more broken than Bamford's injury record, with our best performer earning a third of what a bench warmer gets. And we've signed a Belgian international, who's probably regretting every second of his Elland Road move. Hit that subscribe button right now if you want to stay on top of these developing stories. Drop a comment. Should we break the bank for Wood? Does Bogle deserve that pay rise? Will Bourneau ever see Premier League action in white? The January window is coming, the relegation battle is heating up, and these 3 situations could define our season. Are we heading for glory or disaster? Only time will tell, but one thing's for certain, being Leeds United is never boring. Marching on together, but at what cost to our squad harmony and future? Let me know in the comments what you think Farke should do.